For my second full day in Peru, I remained in the city of Trujillo, and I had the opportunity to explore some of the archaeological and historic sites around the city and its vicinity. And toward this end, I took a shuttle tour that took a team of us to beginning with the archaeological site of the Huaca de la Luna, or the Huaca of the Moon, which belonged to the ancient Moche civilization. And during this first part of the trip along this day tour, I acquired a booklet called Trujillo in Mud and Color by Alfredo Rios Mercedes. And this is a nicely concise review of the art and history of the Trujillo and its vicinity. And I wanted to show a few examples of the kind of content that this booklet provides. For example, some demographic survey of the region of La Libertad and some of the major cities within this department, or again, roughly the state level. And it also has a section, some content on some of the cultural activities that are found distinctly in this area. But I'd like to focus on a few of the most important highlights, such as this very handy chronology of the major civilizations of this area and some of the artistic styles featured from the Moche ceramic traditions, which, as I've said in other videos, is among the finest, not only in South America, but across the entire ancient indigenous Americas. These are simply outstanding works of ceramic pieces. And this booklet has many recommendations of where to see these kinds of works. I wanted to also look at one of my favorite features of this booklet, and one thing that I appreciate the most is that it shows some highlights from the archaeological museums that can be visited around the area. And it talks, for example, about the Moche tourist route. That is, you can follow this, what's called the Moche route, the Ruta Moche, that takes you across many of the major archaeological sites belonging to the ancient Moche civilization that we could date to approximately 100 to 800 AD, thereabouts. And I wanted to highlight this particular set of images because these are photos from the Archaeological Museum at the site of the Huaca of the Moon. And you'll see in this span that I am providing here in this part of the video that the exterior of the museum is the only part that I was actually allowed to photograph. Photography was prohibited inside the museum, and so there were here you can at least see some samples of the masterpieces of Moche art that had been discovered at the site of Huaca de la Luna, which was just along the way. It was right next to the site museum. One last thing that I'd also like to point out in this booklet is this fantastic map that shows many of the historic regions, archaeological sites, and other noteworthy places of interest in and around this site, the region of Trujillo. And this is a very handy way of orienting your position. And if you want to kind of schedule in a direction, you can look at what kinds of locations, what kinds of sites would be in the direction that you'd like to travel for that day. So all in all, this is a very finely concise review of some of the noteworthy things to explore should you be in the Trujillo area. And so this is a nice way of summarizing some of the highlights that I saw in the area. And in the next video, I'm going to be going northwest to the region of Chiclayo and Lambayeque, where I'll be talking about my visit to the archaeological site of the Sipan tombs, and where I had the chance to buy a DVD and a book that at the gift shop. And so the next two installments will be looking at that region while I'm still in this area of Northwest Peru.